Okay, let's find the placement of the ears first. If you would come around, first of all, it's very important to have that head in a very strong vertical. You don't want to lean it back like this, because then when you start putting your ears, you're going to put them way up high. So if you could get that face to where it's very straight, and to where that line across there would intersect at right angles, then our ear would be where it belongs. So we'd come around the head with a line from the eyebrow, and we'd come from the bottom of the nose this way. And where we find the back of the jaw, that's where we're going to put some clay for the ear. Just right in there in that bracket. So we'll just do that. We'll just put some clay on there. That'll be an ear shape. Again, we're not going to worry about making it a perfect ear at this point. We're just putting some clay there that's going to say ear. Just have that wedged out overall shape of an ear. Then let's just kind of do that again. Make sure we got it correct. Maybe refine the shape just a little bit. Come down a little bit tinier down near the lobe and cut up. All right, looking at it from the front, we may want to bring that wedge out just a bit. It's so important to look at every angle when you're doing sculpture. So we'll just leave that for a moment, and we'll turn the head and place the other ear before we go any further. So we come around from the eyebrow, from the bottom of the nose, and in back of the jaw, we'll place some clay that will be the ear. You notice that I don't take a little tiny piece of clay like this and make an ear. I take a large mass of clay and I block in the wedge, and then I might trim it down like this to get my shape. But I need this entire wedge shape to dig into to refine. We'll bring that jaw in just a little bit. Okay, so then we look from the front, making sure of our topmost part of the ear and the lobes. And then we'll turn our piece and look from the back, and we'll also judge it from the back. At this point, we may even want to see what it looks like with the back of the skull. Let me get my tool here. Okay, so now we've placed those ears. We haven't done any detail, but we have a mass of clay there. At this point, I would like to begin putting some of the shapes in the ear. And first of all, I make a little mark that shows where that tab of the ear is. And using this rounded end of my tool, I'll begin to press in to show the indentation that collects sound, actually. And I'll bring this part of the ear down into the head and just begin making some of those lines in the ear. Maybe forming that earlobe just a bit and taking a little bit more of this off to where it has more of the form of an ear. One of the measurements that I need to tell you about for ear placement is that the distance from the bottom eyelid to the jaw, from here to here, is exactly the same as from this corner of the eye to the back of the ear. And it looks to me like I have this ear set just a bit too far back. So let's push it forward. All right, let's try that one more time. From the bottom eyelid to the jaw, and from the corner of this eye to the back of the ear are the same. This is something you'll find from measuring human heads. that this is a measurement that is nearly always correct. There may be an exception to the rule, but we'll go with that general proportion in doing these heads. So we have that one placed. Let's try that on the other side and just see. It works very well on this side. All right, so let's just make a little tab here. Press in with your tool to show that indentation in the ear. Let this top of the ear cut down into the skull. Using the rounded end of your tool, come up and around. Let's just make this ear just a bit more detailed. Not much. I like to leave that detail portion for later, but I want my forms to be correct. And so I'll just let this go back in a little bit, make my line, round out this portion. Let's just get that earlobe a little better. And then I'll slice back just a little bit to refine that ear. Okay, and then I can cut some of that off. Then I pick up this nice hollowing tool that I use for my small figures, and this end of the tool is sort of a pointed wire. I find it very useful to go behind the ears and get some of those shapes that we see behind a person's ear. And just make it a little more delicate there. Getting all that bone right in behind the ear of the skull, possibly cutting down just a little bit. Now everyone's ears are different, and in fact the ears on either side of our face are different. But if we develop the ear about this far and we're doing a particular person, then we can begin to show some of that difference by letting them be out just a little more, if that's what that person's ear does, lengthening the lobe if we need to. Any of those things we can do later. So let's just go ahead and turn now and do the same thing on this side that we did on the other. Just carry it that far. Cut in just a little bit behind it. Make this earlobe just a little better. And then taking the wire tool and coming in behind the ear, letting it be just a little more delicate here. Okay, I think I need to define that just a little more right there. Okay, having placed the ears and developed them that far, we're ready to design our hairdo. Now, if we're doing a particular characterization, we already have in mind this person's hair and the way we're going to mass it in. But no matter what the hairdo is to be, we have to draw on the head the lines that will depict the movement of the hair masses. So we'll start with the hairline. Let's just draw a line for the way that person's hair grows down the side of the face, possibly coming over the ears, just on that side of the brow bone. We could even have a few little wisps coming down here. This person could have a part down the center of their hair. And if they did, we would just make that line that showed where we were going to part the hair and which way it grew. We might even depict that with lines showing the direction that we're going to mask the hair. Let's say we were going to bring it all back, bringing it up from the neck, and put perhaps a bun. Maybe this could be a ballet dancer. And so we could just draw some lines that would depict the hair mask as it's going to be put on this head. So we'll go with that. We'll put a part and let that hair come back this way. All right, let's get some clay now. We don't build hair by putting tiny, tiny little bits on like this. Rather, we take a large mass of clay and we might just put it on the piece and use that clay like this. So let me do that. Okay. So we'll put a little more clay, and sometimes there would be a smaller piece as it would come down maybe like that. All right, let's just put some here. Sweeping it up, the direction the hair would be combed, that's the way we want our strokes to be used.